Hello YouTubers and fellow vintage radio enthusiasts. Our radio for this video is a Lafayette HB-600A alpha. This is a pretty early transistorized base station. This is I know the HB-600 started sometime in the mid-60s. I think about 65, 66. This A version, I'm not really sure. I haven't really been able to find much information. I'd say late 60s was its production around. I think it might have been short-lived. It don't seem like there's a lot of info about these. I really thought this radio was going to be junk. It didn't have a power cord, and it uses one of those cinch Jones, type square connectors with the pins going in various different, orientations. But I took some alligator clip leads, 110. I don't know if I can show that or not. Kind of what I'm doing on my Johnson Messenger. Fired it up. I just traced back from. I don't have a schematic for this or the Sam's manual, so I just traced back from the pins what would be the AC lines input to the transformer to figure out what that was, and I figured two others are DC, and then it's got a 6-pin. I had no idea what the other two are about. Everything seems to work on the radio except the range boost, which is like a mic preamp and compressor. Something's not right with it. If I turn it on every time I key up, there's a kind of a funky squealing feedback noise. This is a pretty, like I said, early transistorized base station. Pretty bare bones. It's actually a 25 channel. I misspoke. It's got an A and a B. If I remember right, A and B are, somebody added the crystals to them later. I think it's channel 24 and 25. I don't remember exactly. Skips rolling kind of out of the south, from Texas to Florida. From that area, and in between is what I'm hearing most of. Radio's kind of rough, some pretty bad scratches. It's got 3 of the 4 original bracket knobs. A little rusty in some places, bent. Let's see if I can, the sides a little better. It's got a large phones jack. Odd thing was, and there was a lot of early radios, especially Lafayette's, that were like this. You have to have it on S for signal for your S units. You put it over on RF, which is power out / RF to read your transmit. Which, as you can see, that portion works as well. And then if you have it on signal and you key up, it's just nothing. It goes to 0. Radio keys, I think just a hair under 5 watts, modulates to 10. I haven't done anything, as far as trying to align the transmitter or anything. I haven't done anything. I put some LED bulbs. They're kind of orangey color. Not sure if I really like them or not. I guess they look okay. Found them in my junk box. They'd come out of a, they come out of a junk box. But they work. Other than that, a lot of cleanup. I had to wire up. This is a really funky plug, and a lot of people out there have probably never seen these. I know some Lafayette's and maybe some other brands use this. They call it the Y plug. I don't like these at all. They were kind of short-lived. Luckily, I had one, and I made a cheater. I took a junk microphone, out of my parts box, cut part of the cord off, and put a 4-pin. This came off of a junk Cobra 29 that came out of a radio shop that didn't want what was left of the chassis anymore. There's a 4-pin panel mount, and it's just going to a D104 that I've got wired to it. But it works good. It's kind of a cheesy deal that I make a lot of those, for odd radios and convert everything from, whatever the radio originally takes to 4-pin Cobra. Get back to the features. I already explained the whole SRF. It's selectable as to get what the meter's going to read. Large phones jack. Squelch. Squelch actually works pretty good on this radio. It's got a decent fade. See. And no pop. You know, no thump or anything when it breaks the squelch. PA. You have to turn the squelch off till it snaps, and that's the PA function. I think my mic gain's probably up a little too high because I think it works through the radio speaker, but I think it squeals horribly. Okay, well, I guess I lied. It does, and I thought it did, but it's actually not doing anything. So apparently it doesn't work through the radio speaker like some radios. Volume in your main power on and off. 3-position delta tune, which is 3 preset receive clarifier. Noise limiter. That's probably the only outstanding thing about this radio. Other than, you know, I've never looked. I don't know if this is a single conversion or dual conversion receiver, but the receiver, you know, I've been listening to it off and on and comparing it to my Lincoln, and this thing has got surprisingly good receive. The tone of the internal speaker, it's okay. It's a little off tone sounding to me, but as far as what it can receive, I mean, it's got a pretty amazing receiver in this little radio. But the noise blanker, you can't. Or actually, I think it's labeled noise limiter. It's 3-position on this radio, and it. Let's see if I can find I think there's going to be too much DX to really tell. I think you can hear it attenuate the background noise. This is a really amazing noise limiter / noise blanker. I read an old review in S9 magazine from like 1966, I think, that was about the HB-600, the predecessor to this 600 Alpha, and they were really impressed with the noise limiter back then. And all these years later, here we are 40 plus years later, and I have to say I'm quite impressed with the noise limiter of this radio. It's far exceeds a lot of today's $1,000 plus amateur HF rigs don't have a noise limiter or noise blanker or anything that's half as good as what's in this old radio. Anyway, I think that pretty much shows you everything for this radio. So about 10 watts peak is what it's doing. It is rough looking. I mean, there's scratches, gouges, dings, bangs. I had to glue the nameplate back up on it. Try to straighten out some of the louvers in the top. I mean, it's a rough radio. It's got the Privacom socket that Lafayette's were so known for on the back of it. Rough radio, but surprisingly it worked. I got this in a lot with a Pierce Simpson Guardian 23 that's very immaculate. I wanted the Guardian 23. Never gave no thought to this radio at all. Figured it probably didn't work, and lo and behold, it does. It just need the controls clean, some sort of power cable and a little bit of other TLC here and there, and it's working pretty good, other than I got to figure out what's wrong with the range boost, but it's probably not something I'm going to look into anytime soon. It sounds okay with it off, with a D104 on it, so I'm probably going to leave it as is for now. Okay, I'm going to stop rattling on. This is as I said, the Lafayette HB-600A Alpha version. I think this was the last version of this radio. Probably late 1960s. This is Operator Paul 262 saying 73s for now, and I hope to catch y'all on the band.